So, today we will be talking about how to prepare. Okay, and in the process, even I would like to clarify some of your doubts if you have. Okay, and please ask some questions if you have. If you don't have, don't manufacture anything. Okay, so today's discussion is about how to go about in this exam in general so that we can get through this exam in one attempt. How many of you would like to get through in one attempt? Yeah, we don't want to attempt unnecessarily too many times. Okay, so you should not be thinking that I have so many attempts, I have just started, so more attempts may not get you anything. If you prepare, if you study properly once, that is sufficient to get through the exam. Only because you increase the number of attempts, nothing may change. In fact, I have seen most people, when the first attempt marks is much better than the second attempt marks. In second attempt, people are reducing the marks rather than increasing the marks. Let us plan something so that you can finish off in one go. So, just before I talk about this, I am JOJO Matthew. Okay, and I will be your boss as long as you are in ALS or till you complete your attempts. Okay, and basically I am a mechanical engineer from NIT Durgapur. I completed my graduation in 1992. You were there at that time? No. Okay, I know that you were not there. Right? So I appeared in this exam between 94 and 97. 4 attempts I had. In those days only 4 attempts. So now it is 6. And age limit also increased. Our time it was 28 was the maximum age, 28 years. So I could not get through. I appeared in the interview a couple of times. Then I started teaching from 1998. So it's 24th year. You are not there at that time also? Okay, no problem. Okay. So I have more experience than your age. So please respect. Okay. So I have done only one work after that, that is teaching for civil service exam. I have not done any other activity. So I have good experience. You should utilize my experience in getting through the exam. And in the process, in the last 24 years, we got more than 3,000 people who cleared the civil service exam. All India rank, first rank in our institute 4 times we got. And any rank, you name any rank, we had a candidate. Okay, you might have seen some photographs also. So we have good track record, we have good experience, and we can guide you. We have seen all these exam patterns changing, all those things. Okay. So you please utilize our experience and knowledge in this, and you follow our advice. That is better rather than you create your own strategy. Yeah, if at all you think you have a strategy, you please discuss with us. If there is something worth in that, we will also take up that. But better to follow us. No need to reinvent the wheel. So whatever strategy we have, it is a sure shot success strategy which you can utilize so that you can get through very easily. Okay. So that is the background. Now you please tell me, how many of you would like to be the topper, first rank? You don't want. What do you want? Second rank. Oh, very good. Okay. You want what? 1 to 10 chalega. Okay. Oh, so humble. Okay. So, what is required to be a topper? If you know, if you want that, you might have some idea what is required to be a topper. What is to be done? Focus. Okay, focus. What else? Hard work and smart work. What is smart work? Minimum effort, maximum result, or no effort till success, right? That is smart work. Minimum effort. Okay, smart work. What else is required? Knowledge and understanding should be there with application. Okay, what else? Knowledge is required, you said. Knowledge with application. Strategy. Patience. What else? Consistency. From the centers also you can tell. What else you require? Consistency. Then first. So if you have patience, if you have strategy, if you work hard, if you are focused, you will get through. That's what you want to say? Okay, very good. So I will say that, one, of course, a summary of all those things, whatever you mean to say, what is required is, proper discipline. Discipline in your hard work. A disciplined hard work. Okay, because this is a very tough and long exam. So only those who are disciplined can survive this fight. If you are not disciplined, if you don't have a strategy and if you don't have a timetable, discipline in terms of time management. We need to have discipline in time management. We have to plan and then execute the plan. Planning is very easy. Many of you are good in planning. We plan every new year. We have a plan. This year, ऐसे कर दूंगा, वैसे कर दूंगा. Finally, within a few days, the plan is also gone. You have forgotten also that you had a plan. Is it not? So the problem is not that we did not know what is to be done. The problem is we are not able to execute our plan. So that execution will come only if you are disciplined, if you are consistent. So that discipline, so in fact, if you ask me, your discipline will decide your destiny. Okay, your discipline decide your destiny. Or you write, my discipline will decide my destiny. If you are disciplined, if you are able to stick to your plan, if you execute your plan, the chance of getting through is very high. If you don't do that, whatever else we do, okay, whatever strategy you have, okay, whatever hard work, only because you think about that, it is not going to work. You have to be disciplined. Now tell me one more thing. How many hours you think you need to study every day to get through in one attempt? 8 to 10 hours. More than that. Out of 24 hours only, na? Oh, okay, okay. I thought you're not saying out of 48 hours, about in a week. So every day, 8 to 10 hours. Okay, I have no doubt that we need to put in some good effort. I am not specifically telling anything right now. We will talk about that because we may have to do multiple things in a day. This is a, there if you are disciplined, if you have a plan, we may be doing many things. See, for example, you may be studying our general studies. You may be doing a bit for your optional subject also. You may be doing something for your current affairs also, right? You may be doing something for our NCRT also. So like this, we have multiple things to be done. So if you have a proper plan, if you have a time schedule, then we will be able to execute that plan. So this is something we can do with some good effort. So you said 8 to 10 hours. I may modify it a bit later, but every day we have to, this should be your only activity. I mean, that is the best thing. Now, if you are working, if you are attending a class, so naturally you may have to use that time for that also. Suppose you are going for a work, 7-8 hours you have to work there. Then out of 24 hours, then what is left may be only 15-16 hours. In that we have to do our personal activities also, you have to sleep also. So many. But if you are a full-time preparation person, if you are a full-time candidate, then I will always say that you put in maximum time, because we are only appearing for, we are thinking about one attempt. When you think about one attempt, we have to spend maximum time for your preparation. Okay. Now, in this preparation, I said one is discipline, very, very important. If you are disciplined, then only something can happen in your life. Second thing is, of course, the daily time I fully understood, but the time is a big factor. Not the daily 8-10 hours, 12 hours which you are speaking. I'm not talking about that. See, today, say today's what, 20th, right? So 20th of November 2022. Now, when will you appear in the preliminary exam? So we are planning for 2024, right? So let us assume that the date has not come. So let us assume that maybe around the 30th of May 2024. That is the preliminary exam. Okay. That's the first available opportunity for you. We have before that, but we are not appearing for that. We are appearing for next year. Now, if you clear this preliminary exam, then only you can write the main exam. The main exam will be in, say, October 2024. If you clear that main exam, you will be called for interview or the personality test. That personality test will be in, say, January 2025. Okay. And if you clear that final result, maybe in April 2025. So how much time from today to get through in this attempt or exam in first attempt, your first attempt? From today, if it is November, 2023 November, 2024 November, that means 2 years gone, another 6 months, so that means almost 30 months from today to get your first result. Is it not? And if you did not get through in the first attempt, then you will get your result in April 2026. Okay. So that means another 12 more months or 42 months. It's more than 2-3 years now. So what I'm trying to tell you is, this is a very long preparation. It is not going to be a small time activity. Rather, it's not for 6 months, or it's not a short term program. Even if you want to get through in one attempt, the time required is almost 30 months from today. Okay, and out of that, even if suppose you say after my main exam I may not have to study much, even if you say that also, even to appear and complete your main exam, it's almost 2 years from today. After that, preparation may be slightly less. So at least 2 years of your time you have to focus fully. You said, okay, in the beginning, what did you say? Focus, hard work, okay, strategy. So this, for the focus should be there for at least 2 years. So whether you will be able to maintain that focus for the next 2 years, that is the biggest challenge. Okay, time, that is why I always say time is the biggest factor in this exam. Since it is a very long preparation, the chance of you getting distracted and get stuck in something else is very, very high. Suppose some of you may fall ill. Okay, Delhi, so much of pollution, if you are in Delhi or any place for that matter, or then you are not able to concentrate, not able to study. Ultimately, what will happen? You will not get through if you are not concentrating, if you are not studying. Yeah, some of you may be at home, somebody falls ill, or rather some problem, some domestic problem for you. Not your direct problem, but a family member's problem. You are distracted. If you are distracted, if you are not focusing, you are not able to prepare. Or some of you may get a job. Some of you may get through some other exam, fully confused, whether to prepare for civil service or continue with that, join that, this, all sorts of confusion. So what I am trying to tell you is, you should be completely focused. You should be fully focused for this exam for the next 2 years. Then only result will be there. If you are not fully focused, if you are half focused, half-hearted attempt is not going to bring in any result. So it has to be a full-fledged preparation, full effort, and full focus. So that is why I am using the term time is a big factor. Most people, if 90% of you ultimately fail in this exam, it is not because you did not have the caliber. It's not that you did not have the ability. It is only because you got distracted. It's a long time. Focus should be there. If you are not single-mindedly focused for this exam, and if you get distracted because of some other exam, some other job, some other problem, some of you may fall in love in between. टाइम है इस सब का, पता चला करियर खत्म, बाद में क्या बोलेगा, मैं सब ठीक चल रहा था, गड़बड़ हो गया. So that is the challenge. Whether who can stop you, or yourself can stop from all this nonsense. Okay, so this is your effort, this is your commitment, and that single-minded focus only can take you to success. So please be very clear. You have to be disciplined. You need to have a timetable. We need to do multiple things in a day. We have to plan for the day every time. Okay, a timetable should be there, or a routine should be there. Then how to execute that plan? For that single-minded devotion and focus. So this is very, a bare minimum requirement. Otherwise, this civil service exam is a simple exam. The topics are not tough. Topics are very simple. Okay, it's a general knowledge exam. Okay, general knowledge is something what we studied in school is general knowledge. We studied history in school. We studied geography in school. We studied a bit of constitution. We studied a bit of economics. Studied a bit of general science, general maths. Everything what we studied till 10th standard That is the general knowledge. General, no specialization till 10th. All of us studied the same thing. All of us studied science, we studied maths, okay, and there was no choice there. And all of us were, but from 11th onwards, we started getting choice. Whereas some of you can take science, some of you might have taken arts or maybe commerce, like this. But till 10th, whatever we studied, it is compulsory for all of us. That is the general knowledge. Today, you may not be remembering anything what you studied there. Okay, so maybe I'm not saying anything, but something you may be remembering, but most of the things in the books we might have forgotten. We have to revive that because this is a general knowledge exam. Simple. And by seeing the question, you will think that, oh, this anybody can know, anybody can remember, or anybody can answer this question. But the only problem is, are you able to answer at the given time? If I ask you a question now, and whether you can answer that now or not, that's a challenge. I know that tomorrow you will come and answer it if you get the question today. But can you memorize and remember everything what we studied as? So the topics are not tough. Simple things it is asked. The challenge is how to memorize even those simple things. We have to maybe repeatedly revise what we studied. So repeated revision is what is required in the whole thing. Okay, and second thing is, this exam I told it's not tough, but the competition is tough. Why? Across India, every year around 10 lakh people apply for this exam. 10 lakh. And who are those 10 lakh? Not everybody will apply. Only those who think that they are studied a bit or they are slightly good in academics. They are the people. So that means in a college, if you go, not every student in the college will be appearing for civil service exam. Who are those people who think that they will appear? Those who might have studied a bit better, those who are in the better ranks, and maybe those who are getting better marks. They are the people who might be thinking of. That means the competition is among some comparatively good students in studies. So competition's level increases. So out of this 10 lakh people who apply, around 5 lakh finally appear in the exam. See, after application also, many people will not come to the exam hall, so don't worry about them. So they applied, and many of you don't have to pay any fee. Girls don't have to pay any fee because it's free for you. You have to only apply. Otherwise, 100 rupees. These days, 100 rupees is not a big deal for us. So applicants are high, appearing normally only 50%. Out of that also, I believe, say around 1 lakh people may be serious. Even after going to the exam hall, many of them are just for the sake of going to the exam. They go only to, tell everybody that I also appeared for civil service exam. Whenever when I say somebody that I have an institute and coaching, many people say, I also appeared. How you appeared and all, I do not ask. But people with great pride, they say, even I appeared. Fir kya hua? I don't want to ask also. Had they got through, they would have somewhere else. Otherwise, I appeared people, they failed at some point of time. Anyway, so around 1 lakh serious people are there. Out of that 1 lakh, around 10,000 people are who qualify preliminary. Okay, around 10,000 people qualify the preliminary exam. Out of this, those who qualify the preliminary and who wrote the main exam, say around 2,500 will be called for interview. Okay, out of this 2,500 who appear in the interview, around 1,000 will get a job. Okay, they will qualify. Okay, they will clear the exam. Out of this 1,000, 180 people will get IAS. And say 200 will get IPS. Say around 40 will get IFS. The rest, other services, we have IRS and another around 20 services are there. All put together, on an average, you can expect around 1000 qualifications or other 1000 people who finally clear the exam. Okay. So, the challenge is how to be in that top 1000 from maybe, if you want to get frightened, from this 10 lakhs. If you don't want to get frightened, from this 1 lakh, because there are only 1 lakh serious people. I am considering you are serious. So, we 1 lakh serious people, 1000 people will get. So, 1 out of every 100 who are serious will get a job. Okay, so it's not a bad proposition anyway. So, please understand, all I am trying to tell you is the issue is competition. The issue is competition. Okay, the difficulty level is in competition. Not the exam, not the topic, not the syllabus. Syllabus is simple, general knowledge, which anybody can study. But what is required is how to overcome the competitors. We have to be in the top by getting better marks than others. Okay, so that is the challenge, right? So competition is a big issue here because good people are appearing and we have to consistently work hard. So the challenge is how to see, and there is no minimum marks in this exam and there is no maximum marks. We have to be in the top 1000 to get the rank. Okay, that's all. Anyway, so that is the general thing. And another very important aspect is, on a daily basis, before I come to the exam pattern, on a daily basis, we have to do multiple things. Say, for example, say if you attend a class, okay, our GS class, say this GS class will be for say 2 hours to start with initially, then later on it will become 2.5 hours. Then you may have to study what is taught in the class at home. So, whatever is taught in the class, how many hours you think you'll have to study to memorize or rather to consolidate at home? Suppose I take 2 hours of class. How much time it will take for you to 1 hour, 1.5 hours? Okay. So, I believe you may be requiring around 1.5 hours to consolidate everything properly, memorize, organize. Maybe you have to rewrite something, maybe a couple of points you may have to add. So, you have to study at home. Then other than that, every day I will suggest that you may have to do some NCERT book reading, because this is the base, and I already said our civil service exam is a general knowledge exam. General knowledge is what we studied in school. So, we need to have some base and foundation building exercise. This is what exactly we are also doing here. So, my suggestion is every day you may have to spend at least 2 hours on NCERTs. Okay. So, we have I think you might have got a list also. So, 30-35 books are there, and what we have to do is that consistently right from today we have to start reading and memorizing, not only just reading it, read, underline and then memorize the vital points in that. Okay. So, you have to do some NCERT. Then we will also have to do, we have to read say newspaper. Again, every day we will have to spend some good time for newspaper reading, say 1.5 hours for current affairs. Let's say 2 hours I will keep for newspaper for plus current affairs. set 2 hours for newspaper plus current affairs. Then your optional subject. Some of you might not have decided your optional subject, no problem, but as and when you decide, you have to think and plan and discuss, okay, and you can discuss with us also, but ultimately you have to zero down on a subject. So, and my suggestion will be always, every day you study for some time optional also, right from the beginning. Even if you are not attending any class and all, what you should do is at least identify the basic books, basic reading, so that you have some clarity. Suppose you decide that sociology is going to be a subject or history is going to be a subject. So then immediately we have to identify some basic books so that we can develop some interest and some base and foundation for that also. I will say every day set 2 hours for optional subject. Then we will have to do a bit in our maths, mental ability, reasoning, etc. Okay, meaning this is very important aspect because this is what it comes in the preliminary as a compulsory paper. I'll just come to that. Okay, so we need to have some basic. It's a compulsory paper. We need 1/3 marks in that. So some practice is a must because we have to regularly practice because this is, and the level of questions which may come may be only 8th standard level, but still we need practice. So you may have to spend at least 1 hour every day. So many books are available in the market, so many guides are there, even online, so many free coaching and all online is available. Simply do some practice on a daily basis so that you are used to solving maths. And finally, some answer writing, question solving, etc. If I say 1 hour. So how many activities we have to do every day? Say attend the class, study what is taught in the class, read and study NCERT, read, collect and maybe study current affairs, do something in your optional subject, do something for your maths, mental ability, reasoning, do something for your answer writing and things like that. If I add all these things, this will come to 2 plus 1.5, 3.5, plus 2, 5.5, plus 2, 7.5, plus 2, 9.5, plus 1, 10.5, plus 1 more, 11.5. Okay, so but if you say you don't have 11.5 hours every day, adjust a bit. Instead of 1 hour, maybe you make it 45 minutes. Maths maybe make it 45. Like this, you adjust. But class timing will be same. We'll be having at least 2 hours of class. It will not be less than that. Okay. So all I'm trying to say is, depending upon your comfort and depending upon your ability and management, I will suggest that it may be anywhere between say 10.5 hours to say 12 hours. It cannot be much less than this. Suppose you say I can spend only 5 hours a day. Of course, if you are attending a class, if you are already in college, then if you are taking 5 hours, I have no problem. But if you have already completed your graduation and then if you say I have only 5 hours, then I feel it is too less. So if you are studying, if you are going to study this along with your graduation, then 5 to 6 hours also will do for this. But if you are not doing along with your graduation, then 10 to 11 hours, 10 to 12 hours should be there. That is the minimum. So along with your college, then we may have to cut down certain things because you have more time also. Then accordingly we can plan. Okay. So not every day we may be doing anything on optional subject. Once in 3 days, once in maybe weekly 2-3 days we may spend on optional. Then half of the time we may be using for matchment. So something like that we can divide. Say newspaper we may have to read every day. NCERT we may have to read every day. But certain things can be done on an alternate basis also. That depends upon your strategy and planning. So all I am trying to tell you is, on a daily basis, we will have to do multiple tasks. Multitasking or multiple activities we will have to do. Do you suggest some newspaper and suggest some magazine? Somebody is asking. Yes. See, now I said 2 hours for newspaper plus current affairs. It can include some magazine also. Okay. Say for example, the week or the front line. You might have heard about that, front line. So very good. Or maybe Yojana. Not all articles in Yojana are important for us. Some of them, Kurukshetra, all government publication. All government publication. You can pick and choose, you can have maybe one article a day. Every day you need not, you need not have to read all the articles from those magazines. Whichever you think it is relevant for our exam based on our syllabus and all, you pick up accordingly. Okay. So, but you fix a time for all these things. So, I will suggest that you should spend around 2 hours every day for current affairs, newspaper and other aspects including magazines and all. And one more point is, which newspaper somebody is asking. See, there are only 2 or 3 newspapers you can think of reading. One is the Hindu or the Indian Express. In Indian Express also, there are 2 Indian Expresses. One is the new Indian Express, the old, this is a normal Indian Express, the Delhi edition. Because Indian Express has a South Indian version also, but that is quite light. It is not that interesting. Okay. So what I'm trying to, you can pick any of these newspapers, but these days we also have online versions of these newspapers. You can even subscribe an online version. Wherever you sit, wherever you are. It's not that these days the physical copy has to come. You can subscribe online version. Then you can go through the articles and all. And ultimately, I always suggest that you read one article a day. You see the whole newspaper, see the headlines and all, then pick one article, maybe from the front page or maybe from the editorial page. Okay. So, one article a day. This is just to have, see, suppose when you get the newspaper, if you just go through the headlines, you will get a picture about what has happened in the country and the world the previous day. One brief idea you will get. It may take, if you are reading only headline, maybe 10 minutes you can cover the whole newspaper. Then you pick one article. It may take another 30 minutes to read, underline, maybe make some notes, whichever area you have picked up, whichever article you have picked up. If you think it is important, you got some points, they jot down in your notebook also. Okay. So, see, now my argument is slightly different here. My argument is, first you have to fix time for everything. First you should realize that we have to do multiple things. And then you should fix time for each and every activity. You cannot say, I did not have time for NCERT or I did not have time for newspaper. You will not have time if you are not fixing time properly. Suppose you say that you have only 6 hours every day because of your college or because of your job, then I will say, yes, you attend the class, so 2 hours. Instead of 1.5 hours, maybe 45 minutes you spend on studying at home. You have to do a bit faster, some lesser time. Instead of NCERT 2 hours, maybe you convert into 1 hour. Newspaper, instead of 2 hours, you convert into 1 hour. But we have to fix accordingly. So, whatever with the time available, I set an ideal time. Ideal time is 11.5 hours per day. Non-ideal, depending upon your situation. and accordingly you should realize that there are people who are spending say 11 to 12 hours every day with full seriousness, with full division of work, and with lot of answer writing practice. So such people, you have to compete with them. You cannot say, I was in college, so I could not spend time, so I will write less. So if you write less, you will get less marks. You have to write, your examiner is not worried whether you studied full time or half time or quarter time or no time. Okay, your ability will be reflected in your answer sheet. So answer sheet should be proper. So for that you have to study anyway. So this is something. Now in this context, I said we have to first is time, 11 and a half to 12 hours, maybe 10 to 12 hours every day. You will have to devote. So time to quantity. First you talk about quantity. Then comes quality. How effectively you are studying, how effectively you are reading. Quantity and quality both should be there. Only quantity has no meaning if there is no quality, or in the name of quality, if you are sacrificing on quantity, that also both should be there. Enough time and also some quality work. See, now that is why every day's activity I would like also to divide into something else, something like I would one activity every day is collection of information. Okay, one activity is collection of information. Okay, so that means when you attend a class, so one is collection of information. Say for example, when you attend the class, when I teach something, what is that? You are collecting some information to be studied at home. When you read and underline NCERT, what are you doing? You read, underline. You are again collecting information to be studied. Suppose you read some textbook and read and underline. Again, you are collecting information. Suppose you read newspaper and making some notes. Again, you are collecting information. Okay. So this collection activity will be there every day. Now, out of this 10-12 hours which we are talking, so the class, these 2 hours, it's only collection. But studying is different. NCERT, if you are reading out of 1 hour just to read and underline, and another 1 hour for memorizing. So if I say 2 hours for class in collection, NCERT 1 hour collection, newspaper, if you read and underline and make some notes, again collection, say 1 hour out of 2. If optional subject, again if you are reading and identifying, underlining, making notes, that's again collection. So ultimately what happens is, if you are talking about 10-12 hours, this collection activity, my suggestion is the collection activity should be for around 5 to 6 hours. This is where you accumulate information. This is where you make notes. This is where you identify topics or the identify points so that you should remember later on. Second activity at home is I call it as studying or say memorizing. Or say studying, self-study or self-study, meaning whatever you collected you should remember. You should convert that information into knowledge. Somebody said, no, okay, to get through the exam there should be enough knowledge. What do you mean by knowledge? Knowledge is something what you know, or rather what you studied, and what I remember. Suppose you ask me, say about say Sri Lankan crisis. In Sri Lanka, there is an economic crisis. You might have heard about that last year. See if I am able to explain to you properly what happened last year in Sri Lanka, what were the problems faced by them, who was the president of Sri Lanka at that time, who is the present president, how that president was thrown out, then what led to that crisis, what are the solutions for that problem. If I explain everything properly, what will you say? Yes, sir has knowledge about Sri Lankan problem. Suppose if I ask you, tell me something about the midterm elections which took place in US. Have you heard of that? There are some midterm elections for the Senate as well as to the House of Representatives. In November first week, there are midterm elections to US. Who won the election? Huh? Democrats won the election. Republicans. Did Republicans won the election? So in the Senate, Democrats got a thin majority of 1 seat. And in the House of Representatives, the other house, Republicans got a thin majority of a couple of seats. I mean, it's not very clear how many seats because still some results are yet to be out. So what I'm trying to tell you is, if you are able to explain everything what happened in the midterm elections in US, if I ask you that question, then I will say, yes, you have knowledge about the US elections or the US midterm election. If you only heard about that, yes sir, some election has taken place, I don't know what happened. So I will say, you have some information, but no knowledge. But no knowledge. So what is required? Is it some information or knowledge? We need knowledge so that we can explain, we can write tomorrow. So to convert that information into knowledge, we have to do a lot of self-study, reading, memorizing, repeated revision. Okay, all those activities we will have to do. Converting information into knowledge. So for that you have to spend time every day. So how many hours you spend every day these days for knowledge making? How many hours you are spending every day? Yesterday how many hours you spent? Anyone who spent some time? Anyone? Even half an hour? Have you done? Such no problem. If you have not done, it's no problem yet. You did not start today, or we are starting preparing for civil service. How many of you have done? No. Last 1 week, how many? Even 1 hour? Anyone? From the center also you can tell. Any time you have spent for knowledge making? Did you memorize anything? No. Did you read something? Yes, we read. Newspaper, पूरा खोल के बैठ गया, है ना? पूरा newspaper I read. But if I ask you something what you read yesterday, if you don't remember, if I ask you what was the headline yesterday? Yeah, day for yesterday. If you don't remember, why? Because you have only read one reading, you may not remember anything. So we have to convert it. So every day, my request is, your challenge should be how much time you are spending for converting that information into knowledge. My suggestion and my request is, you should be spending at least 4 to 5 hours every day for knowledge making. That means, suppose you read NCERT. I'm just giving a crude example. Say, initially what will you do? You read NCERT. We read and underline. Say 1 hour, you read and underlined maybe 10 pages. So when you underline, why did you underline a particular sentence? Why did you underline it? Because you felt it is very important. I should know it. That is why you underline. That's a very important point. Now, after say 1 hour, if you spend time to memorize that one sentence, that important sentence you identified, then I will say you have converted that information into knowledge. Or when you read newspaper and make some notes out of it, and if you memorize that notes properly and the points which you have written down there, if you memorize it properly, the name of the person and things like that, everything, then I will say you have knowledge about it. So you have to convert information into knowledge on a daily basis. My request is 4 to 5 hours you please spend. If you are doing that, what will happen is at the end of every day, every week, you feel that I have learned so many new things. Otherwise, what will happen if you are only making notes, if you are only coming to the class, if you are only underlining your book, even after 2 weeks, if I ask you a question, you have no answer. You will only say, sir, I read, I don't remember, it is there in my notebook, one day I will tell you. When is that one day? When will you tell? Okay, suppose I say, these elections have happened. When will you study about that election and tell me that, okay, this is what happened? That is the challenge. Okay, so please understand that in civil service preparation, this is the difference between your college studies and civil service preparation right now. In college, what would you do? We never studied on a daily basis. We at the maximum made notes. At the maximum, we might have attended classes. We might have some notes and some books and some underlined portion. But when did you study finally? 1 week before the exam, one night before the exam. Many of you have got through your graduation because you studied the previous night. Full night you studied, no sleep also, and suddenly you became a graduate. ऐसा क्या है? Did you study 1 month before the exam? 1 month after I have an exam, so I am studying now. Did you do that? I am sure you did not do. Most of us have not done. If you have done, it would be something else. So, but in civil service, when are you going to exam? We are going to write the main exam in October 2024. When are you studying? Today you are going to study for that, which is going to happen after 2 years. So this is a big difference. You have to convert, you have to spend time for knowledge. And number 3, not only. So you need to find time for collection. You need to find time for converting it into knowledge. And you need to do some answer writing practice also. Because these are the days of you practice and go to the exam. There should not be any surprise in the exam hall. You should know, even you may not be knowing the exact question, but if you have practiced enough, by the time you reach the exam hall, you know many of these questions are going to come, and how to write and how to face, how to manage, all these things you learn. So that is why every day, say some 1.5 to 2 hours, you should be spending, including that maths, mental ability, reasoning, answer writing, all put together 1.5 to 2 hours. So my ideal division of time for collection, then converting into knowledge and practice. Okay, that is collection 5 to 6 hours, knowledge, that means to memorize 4 to 5 hours, and practice 1.5 to 2 hours. Okay, so you need to do all the 3 things in a single day. You cannot say, I will only collect, I will not study. Or you cannot say, I will only study, I will not collect. If you don't collect, what will you study? This difference, if you can understand now, your civil service preparation will be in the right track. If you cannot understand this difference even now, and till you understand, your efforts will be wasted unnecessarily. So it's not that you have to read NCERT. So what you have to do? Read plus memorize also. Then only your task is done. If you are only reading and if you are not converting that information into knowledge, then your day is wasted. See, many a times, I feel preliminary exam is more of a test of your information. How wide information you have. Because in preliminary, even by giving that 4 options, answer is also given to you. You are asked to identify the answer. You don't have to memorize the answer. You have to only identify the answer. By seeing the 4 options, you should be able to tell, yeah, oh, this is the answer. But when it comes to main exam, no choice, nothing. No answer in front of you. You have to write everything from your memory. So main exam is a test of your memory. And your test of your ability to write. Answer writing ability, your ability to express your knowledge. Memory will tell you, you can accumulate information and your knowledge, and your ability to express the knowledge, ability to write or express the knowledge. See, many a times I have seen people with good knowledge, they are not able to express. They are not able to tell properly. They are not able to convey. Okay, so you need to have that ability to write and express. That is through practice. And when you are called for your personality test, your interview, what is tested there? Main exam tests your memory and your ability to express your knowledge. In personality test, an interview, what happens? Say 25 minutes, 30 minutes of your interview. What is tested? What is tested? Knowledge is already tested in the main exam. Knowledge is not what is tested in, that is not the aim of personality test. Your personality. What do you mean by your personality? How you look at things. Okay, that is also part of your personality. So what do you mean by personality? How we talk, how you act, how you think. वो भी है ना, personality के part है ना. So what is personality? Presence of mind also. What else? When you say a good personality or a bad personality. What is that? Come on here. Character. Okay, positive approach, including, that is part of the. So basically, personality test means your character test. What kind of person you are? What kind of person are you? How will you say about you? Suppose I ask you, tell me something about yourself. What will you say? What kind of person? What do you think is what you are? It may be different from what others think. You say, I am a very hard-working, very genuine person. I may say, you will say, अरे sir, ये क्या आदमी है? आपको पता नहीं है इसके बारे में. Okay, you will be immediately saying something else as a friend. Suppose you say, I am very honest. Your friend will say, इतना बड़ा cheat, हर जगह चोरी, and then you say, I am very honest. Okay, so what? This is the character. What kind of person? Okay, see now, just before I go to that, suppose a new district collector is appointed to your district. What do you want to see in that person? What kind of a person you expect? What is your expectation about a new officer, or maybe an IPS coming there as an SP? What do you want to see in that person? Or an IAS? What kind of an officer you want in your district? Huh? Honest and clean. Honest. Then dedicated to service. Then active, very active. Character, very active. Then honest, dedicated, a person with empathy, a person who can solve the problems, problem solver. What else you want to see in that of man? Not arrogant. Is it not? You don't want an arrogant person sitting there, or a bogus fellow, or you only claim, too many claims and no action. You don't want to see that person, right? Problem solver, humble. We want a humble officer. You will be very happy if you see a humble man sitting in a big chair. How humble he is. Okay, problem solver. If you go with a problem and instead of solving your problem, if he tells his problems, and finally you come out saying that, okay, you have more problems than me, so I am going. That is not the aim, right? So we need a humble, honest, dedicated, proactive person with empathy who can solve problems. Is it not? A disciplined, who can come on time, punctual. Suppose you are called to reach at a particular time and you reach there and he is nowhere in the scene. Agar pahunch gaya, democratic, confident, integrity, character, many things people are service oriented, very good. Time also, yeah. You go there and that man is nowhere in the scene, and if you ask the officer or in the office, sir, when will the sir come? I am asked to come now. If the staff there with a smile says, sir, वो कभी नहीं आता, आप कैसे आ गया? आपको पता नहीं है हमारे ऑफिसर के बारे में? He never comes on time. If he says that, what will be your impression about that man? So what I am trying to tell you is that you need to have some good qualities, and this is what exactly what we look in you when you come for interview. Whatever you wanted to see in that officer, this is what we want to see in you when you come for interview. So you have to develop some good character. It cannot be an overnight business. Today you get an interview call and tomorrow you cannot be honest. Or some of you may say, sir, मुझे service दे दो, I will become honest. Give me service and I will become honest. No. If you are honest, I will give you service. Okay. You cannot say, if I become IAS, I will become punctual. Okay. You cannot. You have to. So what I am trying to tell you is, this part, that personality test, the interview, it is not your knowledge. Knowledge is not tested at all. Of course, some knowledge will be reflected when you answer. But the test is not knowledge. Your raw memory is not what is tested. What is tested is what kind of person. So start living a new life so that you can display some of your good character by the time you reach the interview. You have 2 years time, minimum 2 years time to develop a good character. You can easily develop. It all depends upon what kind of approach you have about life. We can easily develop a good character. See, sometimes we say about people, this man has changed a lot. So suppose about you or about your friends, we say earlier, oh, this fellow he never used to take bath. Earlier he used to stink. Now he has taken bath, he is taking bath every day. What happened? We don't know. Character badal gaya. Or earlier this fellow, he never used to come on time. Now he started coming to the class on time. He is not a person I knew earlier. Now he is a different personality. So you can also change. Any one of you can change. Only thing is, you should decide what you want. So, some of these qualities you please develop. Honesty, integrity. What do you mean by integrity? A person of great integrity. This is what is lacking in our politics. No integrity. Integrity means, do you have integrity? Huh? सब कुछ है लेकिन integrity नहीं है. What is integrity? In a layman's language, how will you explain integrity? Standing by your, or what you say and what you do should be the same. Okay, or even if nobody else is watching, you have to do the right thing. It's something like, रात को, when you drive a car or a bike, no traffic policeman in the signal. When a red light comes, what will you do? At 10 o'clock. You will look here and there, nobody is there. So, you jump the light. Because nobody, but Upar wala is watching. Somebody is watching. So, integrity means irrespective of who is watching, who is not watching. You having certain principles and values and you sticking to that values. And that will be reflected in. So, certain things, honesty, don't tell lies unnecessarily. No lies. Don't be arrogant. We hate people who are arrogant. We hate people who tell lies. Okay. So, you are, that integrity, a person of integrity. Person of integrity means a person who speaks and does and thinks the same thing. You have to develop some certain characters that if you can reflect that in your interview, you will get heavy marks. Okay, interview is a game changer these days because people are getting even 70% marks in interview, 75% marks in interview. In written exam, to get 50% is difficult, but to get 70-75% in interview is possible, and your whole rank. Okay, the whole rank will change. So, practice what you preach. Somebody is already writing, yes, this is exactly what you speak, what you do and what you think should be the same. That is integrity, a person of integrity. Think of it. You can develop it, nothing to study here. Okay, to develop a good character, you don't have to study anything. You don't have to read books to understand what good character I should have. Okay, without studying, you can get some marks. Where? In interview. If you can display your good character. Okay. So, anyway, so 3 very important things here. In fact, information, knowledge, then education and wisdom. I talked about information. So, information is tested in our preliminary exam. Knowledge is tested in main exam. Education is tested in interview. How well educated you are, what kind of character you are, what kind of personality you are. In fact, even wisdom also, but normally we may not be able to show much wisdom and all. Wisdom is something which you gain over a period of time with experience and time and all. People with great wisdom. Any example of people with wisdom in your knowledge and in your understanding, a person with wisdom? Nobody? Some of the religious leaders can be termed as people with wisdom, or Mahatma Gandhi, is it not? So, there are big people with a vision and wisdom. Jawaharlal Nehru, who had a vision and understanding for the country. When there is no country also, he could plan and think for the country. And he could envisage, he could see, oh, this should be done like this should be the constitution, this is how the parliament should work, this is how the executive should look like. this is how the judiciary should look like. So very few people can think and anticipate and all. So that is okay. But in interview, definitely your education, your character will be tested. Okay. So anyway, so all the three in civil service exam is the only exam where your information is tested, your knowledge is tested, as well as your education level. That means your character is tested in such a beautiful way. In fact, when you go for interview, 5-member board, and it is one of the most unbiased boards you can get in your life. No other exam you may get such unbiased. 5 people, one of them are the UPSC members, the other 4 members, they are selected from different walks of life. There may be a science graduate, there may be an arts graduate, one from North India, one from South, okay, one may be a lady member, okay, and there can be a scheduled caste, scheduled tribe member, to ensure that a minority member. Why? To ensure that there is no biasness in the board. If such diverse people are sitting, so a lady member can be a minority and a scheduled tribe, maybe in one, and she is a science graduate. So 4 to udhar hi ho gaya. Okay. So multiple thing, but they will ensure the balance in the board. And you can be sure of the unbiasedness of the board. It will never be biased. You can be assured of that. And if you show your character properly, you will get very high marks also. Okay. So anyway, so your interview is not a problem. Only thing is that you have to develop a right character, right? Develop the right character. Okay. So you need information, you need knowledge, you need education. All the three, including education with some wisdom, if you can show 80% marks. Okay. So that is how it is there. Now, coming to our exam and the pattern, as we know, we have our prelim exam, GS paper 1 and GS paper 2. Multiple choice, prelim exam is a multiple choice question exam. So, paper 1 is our general knowledge or general studies. Paper 2 is our maths, mental ability, reasoning, then reading comprehension. And paper 2 is a qualifying paper. I am sure you may be knowing, otherwise I am repeating for you. Qualifying paper. How much the minimum marks required? 1/3. Okay, 1/3 marks. So 80 questions are there. 80 is 1/3. 80 divided by 3. Okay, that is then 20 means 6. So 26 and 2 by 3. So set you need to get 27 questions correct out of 80. This is after deducting negative mark. We have negative mark also. Negative marks are again 1/3. It will be reduced if you mark a wrong answer. If you mark a wrong option, you lose 1/3. After deducting all, you should get 27 marks or 27 questions, right? And this is a qualifying paper. I said whoever gets the 27 correct, you are eligible for your paper 1 will be evaluated based on your paper 2's marks. But there are thousands of people who fail in paper 2. You need practice, and this is something which all of you can do very well. So in that also, if you are slightly afraid of maths and all, not all questions are with calculation. Okay, if you look at the maths and calculation questions, maybe 20 out of 80. Total 80 questions are there. Then some reasoning and other aptitude, it may be around 30 questions, meaning no calculation. It's only based on, say, maybe on a diagram or what comes next and all those things, arranging, letters and this and that. Then reading comprehension, where a paragraph is given and you have to identify the answer, or the 4 options are given based on a question. So, one paragraph, one question, one paragraph, maybe 2 questions. So, such 30 questions could be there. So, total 30 plus 30 plus 20 is equal to 80. Out of this 80, you need to get the 27. So, the best thing you should do is that you should try to get marks from all the 3 areas. I mean, you should not be relying only on reading comprehension. You should not be relying only on reasoning aptitude. You should be getting marks from all 3 areas. Maybe if you think you are weak here, okay, you can get less marks, but you cannot get 0. You should not be thinking of getting 0 from that first part. Do something, some practice. That is why I am saying all of you should practice 1 hour a day. 1 hour for this. You please download previous year questions, easily available in the net. See how questions are coming. A couple of books you can buy also, guides and all, like there are books for reasoning separately, math separately, arithmetic, reading comprehension, all, say one by R.S. Agarwal. It's a good book, good guide we can say. You can solve a lot of questions. Plus many more are there in the market. Any SSC book, any bank exam, any SSC book, these books can be you can have so many questions in that. We can easily solve. Also, even online you will get many books, or online many sites are there, websites are there, just free websites, hundreds of questions in that. Keep solving, fix 1 hour every day. Have some habit of solving this maths, mental ability, reasoning for all of you. Even if you are an engineer, you do it. Engineers think that they can solve it. No, they may not be able to solve unless you practice. You need only 27. Don't make too many mistakes, that's all. So, it's not difficult, but you need practice. So, all I am taking, paper 2 is manageable, it's qualifying, but please ensure that you have some practice. This is the right time to practice. You have plenty of time now. You are beginning early. So, when you begin early, at least this paper 2 thing should be handled properly. Finish off. Every day from today, you start picking up and solving questions. Don't wait for the class to happen. In class we will do, but please don't wait for that. Please do it on a regular basis. Okay. So, that is number 1. Number 2, this paper 1, where 100 questions are there. Only 100 questions, that is also a problem, because can a candidate without clearing the exam become a UPSC board member? That is a different thing. Board members, those who sit as a board member, any academician. Okay, normally half of the board will be academicians, like a professor from a university, okay, from IIT, from IIM, or professors from good universities like JNU. So, lot of academicians also will be there. Normally, it is 50-50 between academicians and bureaucrats in the board. 50% of them will be bureaucrats, some IAS, IPS, retired and all, or maybe in service also, and other 50% may be from the teaching or from the academics. Okay. So, you will get a good mix of people in the board. Now, in paper 1, as I told you, total questions are 100. 6 broad areas are there. One is history and culture. Second, geography and environment. Third, Indian economy, economics. Fourth, constitution, Indian constitution. Fifth, general science and science and tech. And sixth, current affairs. This is a broad 6 areas in preliminary exam. Okay. And if you look at the number of questions on an average, you can find in history and culture 15 to 17 questions will come. Geography can be 20 to 22 questions will come. Geography and environment maybe even slightly more. Economics again 15 to 17 questions. Constitution 12 to 15. General science 12 to 15. Current affairs maybe 17 to 20. Okay. So, all 6 areas we will have to study. You have no choice. And in a given year, maybe slight variation also. Say in a particular year, say no question from Constitution, there is 0 question from Constitution. But then, because of that, maybe economics become 25, maybe science become 18. So this can also happen. So by seeing that, if next year if you don't study any Constitution and then next year it may be 20. So you cannot, strategize your preparation based on one particular year or a couple of years before. You have to have a general strategy. You should expect around 15, 17 questions from say history, 20, 22 questions from geography and environment, from economics. Like this, this division is by and large, it's a evergreen division, meaning every year you should prepare like this. On a given year, there may be slight variation here and there. So you have to be prepared something like this. So you have to study all areas. We cannot give up on any of these things. We cannot pick and choose this. You cannot say, I don't like economics. Or you cannot say, I don't understand economics. You have to understand and you have to study. Your liking and dislike is not the issue here. Only because you don't like, if I say I do not study, then you lose. You may not be able to make up. If you are not answering any economics question, 15, 17 questions gone, then it will be very difficult to compete and get. Okay. So, please remember, we have to study all areas, and when we look at the marks required in preliminary exam, please don't forget, we don't, out of this 100 questions and each question carried 2 marks each, 100 into 2, so it is 200 marks. Now, out of that 200, how much you need to get through to clear preliminary? Out of 200, on an average, every year, how much you need to get? How much? नहीं कुछ एक बताओ 40, 50, 60 तो बहुत हो गया. How much you think you require? Last year, that 2021 exam, out of 200 in general category, the cutoff mark was 87.5. General category. Okay. For EWS, EWS is also like a general category only, that is 80. OBC, it was 84.85, 85 likh lo, OBC. Scheduled caste, it was 75. Scheduled tribe, it was 71. So 87 means 88 means 44 questions correct out of 100. Okay. So 44, 45 questions finally after deducting all negative. Here also negative mark is there, 1/3 marks you will lose. So that is 21. 2020, the cutoff was 92.5 for general category. 92.5 general category 2020. Before that, 19, it is 98. So cutoff marks were reducing every year. Maybe because during the COVID time, the questions were also slightly different because they were also not sure. UPSC was also not sure when will they be able to conduct the exam. So because of that, they might have prepared the question paper such a way that it can be used anytime. So in the process, some more generalized may. But what my conclusion is, most of the years, even 2018, it is 98 cutoff. So for the general category. So accordingly, we can adjust a bit here and there. But generally, the cutoff is around 100. You should aim, say, for 105 to be on the safer side. Cutoff was only 87, but I will say you aim around 105. Then it will be safe. Let it be whatever category you are. Aim 105, applicable for all, then you will be safe. You can, the moment you write and come out of the exam, if you know that you are going to get around 105, then no need to worry. Automatically you can start preparing for the main exam. Okay. So now for this also, please understand, to get 105 means 52.5, 52 or 53 questions out of 100. That's all. To be right after deducting the negative marks. So the strategy is, I am just telling you because a lot of time is there, we can plan later on also. Out of the 100 questions, I will say how many to attempt. You attempt only 80. Leave 20 questions straight away. No need to, because you may not be knowing those 20 questions in any case. So we can easily leave around 20. Then out of the 80 you attempt, make sure that your accuracy level is approximately 75%, 75 to 80% accuracy. Meaning, if you attempt 10 questions, you should get at least 8 correct. If you attempt, or if you attempt 20 questions, at least 15 should be correct. If you are not getting, see, now you leave some questions saying that I don't know, then you are marking questions thinking that you know, and then you cannot make too many mistakes. Still you can make some mistake. So basically your aim is, if 10 questions are coming from history, how many you will attempt? You should attempt 8. And how many should be correct? Out of 8 you can make some mistakes. Okay, at least 6 should be correct. So basically what I am saying, 6 out of 10 should be correct. And then some minus marks also will go, no problem. Still it will be, our cut marks will be around 55, 56 then. So it's not that, in preliminary, I am just making your effort a bit easier. It's not that you have to answer all questions. You need not aim for all 100% correct answers. You can leave some questions, you can make some mistakes, till you can get through. So 6 out of 10, if 10 questions from history are coming or 10 questions from geography are coming, 1 or 2 you can leave it, then another 1 or 2 you can make mistakes, still you will be very comfortable in getting through preliminary. That is why I am insisting that all 6 areas we should study. History we should study, geography we should study, economics we should study, constitution, science, current affairs, all 6 areas we should do with sincere effort. We have to study it sincerely so that we can leave a couple of questions unattended and we can make some mistakes also. Still, there will not be any difficulty in getting through the exam. So the strategy for preliminary is, all areas will be covered, and most importantly, whatever we cover in the class, you please, this is where you should repose your faith in us. For the topics which we cover, whatever we teach, it is important for you. You must study. You cannot pick and choose from the class. You cannot say, "Arey, pata nahi kis liye padha rahe." You cannot apply your common sense there. There is no sense. I mean, there is not common sense in any case. Don't apply your whatever little sense. When we cover something in the class, please make sure that you are studying it properly. Okay, so that is the only way we can clear, and a lot of practice we will be seeing that. Okay, so that's about preliminary. When it comes to the main exam, we have 9 papers, 2 of them are compulsory. Okay, which are those compulsory papers? One is English, another is a 8th schedule language. Both, some of you need not appear in the 8th schedule language. That is, those who are from Arunachal Pradesh, those who are from Mizoram, those who are from Meghalaya, Nagaland, Sikkim, and also parts of Manipur, not all, some of them, where there is no script and all in your mother tongue. So some areas you need not appear in the paper 2. There is a qualifying paper only, depending. But otherwise, most of us will have to appear in paper 2, that second paper of language. And it's a qualifying paper. Both the papers are in 300 marks. You are supposed to get a minimum of around 75 to 80 to 85 marks out of 300. Okay, which is not difficult. You have to write a small essay. You may get some grammar questions, small, which we studied in school again. Some translation from in the language paper from English to your language and your language to English translation will be there. Reading comprehension will be there, which is easily manageable. Please see these questions. Now, if you have some doubt, you please download. It is there available in the net. Please download those questions. Have a feel of those questions. Have some idea so that you can easily manage, and no need to study anything for these compulsory papers normally. Still, if you feel you are not so comfortable in your regional language, 8th schedule language, then some writing practice may be required. Otherwise, it is a simple thing. Now, the other 7 papers, we have GS paper 1, paper 2, paper 3, paper 4, then essay, then your optional paper 1 and paper 2. One optional, we will have to write 2 papers in that one optional. If you are choosing sociology, then sociology paper 1, sociology paper 2. If you are choosing geography, geography paper 1, paper 2 will be there. Each paper carries 250 marks. Essay also 250. You have to write 2 essays in 3 hours. Very difficult task. Optional 1, 250. Optional the paper 2 of the optional, again 250. So 7 papers all put together 1750. All descriptive questions. 3 hours paper. Preliminary 2 hours. Main exam 3 hours each. And not only it is 3 hours each, every day both the papers, morning 9 to 12, 9:30 to 12:30. You have paper 1. Then afternoon 2 to 5, paper 2. Then next day morning, no break. It's not like your university exam where today one exam, then after 1 week another exam, in between tel malish ka time, kuch nahi idhar, nothing. Okay, no time to recover and recoup also. Next day morning we have paper 3, 9:30, and paper 4 at 2 p.m. Third day, essay, English and all may be there, maybe only essay, it depends, sometimes it is only one paper, then a couple of days break, and then you will get an optional subject paper. Paper 1 and paper 2 again. So, it is a very hectic exam. You have no breathing space. Imagine morning you write 3 hours and afternoon you write another 3 hours. Your endurance, your physical ability to sit and concentrate. And if you cannot concentrate in our class for 2 hours, how can you write 3 hours of answer in the exam hall? So, we need a lot of practice. Even the classes, when you sit continuously without any break, that is also another process of getting practice in doing things. Okay. So, anyway, so 1750. But what is the cutoff or rather what is the minimum marks you require for interview, or what is the minimum mark, what is the marks which a topper can get. If you look that way, see, now this is where it's very interesting. In UPSC, especially the main exam, written marks are very less. They don't give you marks. Okay, if you get 50% marks out of 1750, you will be the topper. Okay, so what is the 50% of 1750? If you get 875, you will be one among the toppers. So, a second rank will be handled here. Had you got 50% in your plus 2, what would have happened? In plus 2, if you get 50% and go home, your parents would have throw you out of your home, saying that nalayak kuch nahi pada. But now here if you get 50%, the whole country will celebrate and say topper aa gaya hamare. Okay. In fact, just see last year, first rank was an exception after many years. He got more than, or she got more than 50% marks last year. This 2020, the last Shruti Sharma. He got 932 marks out of 1750 in the written exam. It's an exception. 875 is 50%. Okay. That means she got around almost 50 marks more than. So that means she got around 53% marks in the written exam. It's an exception. In then written plus interview. Okay, written plus interview is the final mark, and that is where the ranking will come. Interview is in 275 marks. And she got 173 marks in interview. And finally, the total marks were 1105. And she was the topper. Okay. Second rank. So first rank 932. Second rank person, that Ankita Agarwal, 871. Normal ho gaya. 875 is 50%. The third rank 858 in the written exam. Fourth rank, that Aishwarya Verma, 860. Fifth rank 871. That's all. So all are 50% and less. So out of 10 marks question, if you get 6 marks, you should celebrate. Some question you may not be knowing. That is why you can get a maximum of 6.5 marks in a very well written answer. If in the institute also, if you get that 6.5 marks out of 10, you should not come and ask me, sir, how can I improve here? You cannot improve. You got the maximum. Okay, you will not get more than that. That is the old style of marking in olden time, maybe your grandfather's time. You ask them. See, it was very difficult to get marks. Today, you will get 100 out of 100 everywhere. Plus 2 topper, 499 out of 500. Last year's topper, he was not happy with 499. She applied for re-evaluation of that one paper where she did not get 100 out of 100. वो भी ले लिया होगा वो बाद में. Just see. But here, if you get 50% in UPSC, you will be the first rank holder. Anyway, but when it comes to interview, a personality test, here the marking is different. Okay, say 275 is the total marks. 50% of 275, how much is that? 137.5. 60% of 275 is 165. 70% of 75, sorry, 275 is 192.5. Okay. Now you see, rank 1 got 173 in interview. Rank 2 got 179 in interview. Okay, 165 is 60%. So 173 may be say 63. 179 may be around 65. I mean, a crude example. I mean, please calculate later on. Around 65, 66%, whatever it is. Third rank, 187. 193 means 70%. 187 means a 68%. Fourth rank got 179. Fifth rank 165. Oh, it's just 60%. Sixth rank 154. So there is one candidate who got less than 60%, 154. Seventh rank 193. Eighth rank 168. Ninth is 201. 10th is 195. So, what is the lesson? Only one candidate out of 10 got less than the top 10. If you want to be the topper, all of you wanted to be topper. Top 10, minimum was top 10. So don't think that everybody is going to get above 60. No. So many candidates, they will be getting less than 155 also, 150 also, 145, 140, 135. All these marks are very common. So what is the lesson we should learn? If you want to be the topper, if you want to be in a good rank, you need to get 60% plus. You should aim for 70. 70 is the ideal thing which you can get, you should try to get. But for that, it's a personality test, your character. You have to work on your character right from now. If you work on that, definitely you can get it. So please understand, it is not a test of knowledge, it is not a test of English, it is a test of your character. People are getting, they are able to display some good character, that is why they got these marks. So if you want to be in the top 10, your interview marks should be 170, 180 in that range, minimum. It can go up to 200 also. Last year only one person in the top 10 got 200 plus. Year before I think 3 of them got 200 plus. So your success and failure towards the end will be decided by your character. How well you can score and how much you can score. It is a very important aspect of it. Okay. So be prepared. So that is why I said you have to do your character building along with this. So final conclusion from my side is, in the main exam, aim 50% in the written exam, but when it comes to interview, aim 70%, 65 to 70%. And if you are able to achieve this, you are rank 1. Okay, and that is how people are managing, and you should also try for this. Right? Then in the main, the GS, paper 1 has 3 areas: history and culture, social issues, and geography, resources, etc. We will be studying elaborately. This is what exactly we require for preliminary also. So we will study all together. So history and culture, you get 75 marks worth question because 250 marks total. Social issues again 75 marks worth questions. Geography 100 marks worth questions. So the total is 250. Geography is a very important area. Geography, environment, Preliminary I said 20-22 questions. Okay. Main exam you see paper 1, 100 marks worth question. Again, environment is separate, geography and economics related geography. So almost 200 marks worth questions from geography in the main exam, 20 marks worth questions from preliminary. So geography, among all the 6 areas, geography is the most important area. Don't forget. We'll also study elaborately. Paper 2, we have constitution, we have governance, then government schemes and social justice, then international, bilateral, constitution you can expect up to 100 marks worth questions. Governance again 50 marks worth. Government scheme, social justice another 50. International, bilateral another 50. So, we will be studying it, but I am just giving a crude broad outline. Paper 2 means constitution related, Supreme Court verdicts and this and that, okay. Then governance related, like transparency, accountability, right to information, so many areas. Then government schemes, so many government schemes are going on about that, its impact and things like that, to bring in some social justice. Then international bilateral issues like India and US, like G20 summit, Prime Minister was there about that, what is the outcome of G20, okay, or India, Pakistan, India, China, India, Sri Lanka, all these questions. Then paper 3, we have economics, pure economics. Then geoeconomics, meaning geography plus economics, where agriculture, irrigation, crop, minimum support price, public distribution system, okay, fertilizer subsidy, all those areas, that is what geoeconomics I am saying. Then science and technology, environment and disaster management, and internal security. Five different areas. Of course, geography, economics and geoeconomics can be termed as together or either very close, yes, but specifically 50 marks each. Science and tech 50 marks, environment and disaster management 50, internal security 50, 5 different areas to 50 marks. And the beauty is all these are important for our preliminary also. So, we have to study together. The economics what we study for main, it is also for preliminary. Geoeconomics for main exam, it is also for preliminary. Science and tech for main exam, also for preliminary. So, it is easy. We have to just study and then use it in different exam. Paper 4 is our ethics, attitude, aptitude. Okay. Now, see here what happens is, here we are asked to write 13 questions on this, this simple ethics, attitude, aptitude type question of 10 marks each. So, 130 marks and 6 questions of case study. 6 into 20, 120 marks case study. And in 13 questions, there may be some quotation. Okay. Say, for example, 3 quotations are given. And what does each of the following quotations mean for you? Say, last years, let me tell you, we can never obtain peace in the outer world until and unless we obtain peace within ourselves. Okay, we can never attain peace in the outer world until and unless we obtain peace within ourselves. It is a quotation by Dalai Lama. Now you are asked to write in 150 words. You please explain what do you mean by this quotation. Or another question, life doesn't make any sense without interdependence. We need each other, and sooner we learn that it is better for all of us. It is said by Erik Erikson. So you are asked to write in 150 words what is the meaning of that. And a third question, every work has got to pass through hundreds of difficulties before succeeding. Those that persevere, those that persevere will see the light sooner or later, Swami Vivekananda. So 3 out of the 13, 3 questions are based on quotation. You don't have to study anything separately. You have to just say what did you understand by this quotation, and you have to answer that. Just 150 words each. Another 10 questions, of course, like attitude is an important component that goes as input in the development of human as a public servant. Anyway, maybe the statement may be slightly wrong. I mean, I am not able to read it properly from this internet. Anyway, so you just see the previous year question, you will realize questions are not difficult. Only thing that we need to know, we will have classes also properly. So this paper 4 is not much of to study. This kind of, in case study also, you are given a situation, and if you are in that situation, what will you do? We may be knowing the answer, but you will have to give an explanation to that. Why you will do that? It's not difficult, but we need some practice. And when it comes to essay, 2 essays we have to write, 125 marks each. And we have to write every essay in 1 hour and 30 minutes. 1 hour 30 minutes. We have to write around 1000 words. These days we are getting a lot of philosophy questions. Quotations are given. We are asked to write on that. Okay, it's not current affairs these days. Earlier there used to be general knowledge and current affairs question. Okay, so 2021, 22 ka bhi hai. So the real is rational and the rational is real. Some of these quotations we may not even understand. If you don't understand, don't write, because we have a choice to write 1 out of 4 questions in essay. Essay is the only place we have choice. So we have to write only 1 out of 4. So it is manageable. At least one you will be able to understand. See, it's written, history repeats itself. First as a tragedy, second as a farce. Then another question, there are better practices to best practices. There are better practices to best practices. Because what is considered to be a best practice right now, there may be even better practices to that. So we have to think in various dimensions about your life, maybe about the country, about even sports, about coaching, about training. Everywhere you can talk about better practices than what is considered today as best practices. Okay, so anyway, so essay, again you please see the previous year questions. We have to develop some knack of writing, because some practice is required, because again not about big knowledge. We cannot mug up so many quotations and then we think we can write. No. So, but having an understanding of quotations and the meaning, proverbs and its meaning, so it can help, because some prominent proverbs are used or other quotations are used in the exam. So we have to do that. Anyway, so this is the syllabus part. And we have to study elaborately. We cannot pick and choose. I already said division of the syllabus. I said. Now finally, what I am trying to tell you is that now what will we do? What is our strategy? What are we trying to do? Our strategy is, we have 1.5 years of time from today till preliminary. So your course from now, from November to say April 2024. It's a 1.5 years program. Now onwards till May 2023, we can say it is our foundation. Okay, and from June to April, it is the advanced course. Okay, we start with foundation, then we will move into the advanced course. The idea is, if you have a proper foundation, then it is very easy to clear this exam in one attempt. It's not that you can, many of you may be eligible to write exam in 23 also. Only because you write, you are not going to clear the exam. You have to study properly, good knowledge, good understanding, good practice. Then if you appear, it becomes easy. So, to create the foundation, or till May, what all will be, see, the entire syllabus will be covered. We will be providing you with material also, study material will be there, some 20 to 25 books will be there. Every month we have a current affairs PDF around 100 pages each, which is downloadable. We will be getting you material, current affairs summary we will be giving to you. Material is never a problem. We will be elaborate coverage of the material. Material, see, you have to study. We will teach also. So, in the first part, now till say June or May, what are we trying to do? What should be your aim? Number one, you should complete all NCRTs, around 35 NCRT books. You got a list also. If you did not get, you can get it from your center also, downloadable, and from our app also, we will be getting an access to the app. So, complete all NCRTs. Number two, GS paper 2 of preliminary, that is at CSAT paper. You please practice every day 1 hour and make sure that you are getting more than 27 out of 80. This is the time to do that. Not because I am going to teach you something there, we may teach something, but please understand, it is your self work. You please do, this should be your task. Then every day some said 2 hours, I said 2 hours of your optional, so that by June you have good foundation for optional. Then a fourth thing we will do is, I will be requesting you to write essays every week, 1 essay each. I will also give some input. Now we will have to pick and choose topics, so many, every year 8 questions are coming, we have to write only 2 out of that. So, we have no dearth of essay questions in the previous year questions, it's because they are all philosophical questions, most of them are quotations and all. You have to have some practice of writing, so that if you start practicing essay writing, it's a question of practicing it. You will be comfortable with paper 4, and in that, for that purpose, we may be collecting some proverbs and all, quotes. This will be useful for your ethics paper also. So, we will be doing some exercise on that count, proverbs and quotations and all. We will do some groundwork for that. So, my aim is, by the time June comes, you are thorough with all. See, if you are through with all NCRT properly, my feeling is you have completed 40% of GS. 40% GS is taken care, 40% of GS is taken care. Paper 2 preliminary 100% taken care if you are practicing it regularly. Optional, if you are doing, say, maybe 25% of your optional is ready, because you have done a basic book reading, understanding, seeing the syllabus, no coaching, nothing, but still if you are doing it, you will have some good foundation for that. And essay writing, collecting some proverbs, quotes and all, again you are by and large through. So, what I am saying, even it will be useful for your ethics paper. We will also support you. So if you can do this much, where you are developing your skills in maths, mental ability, reasoning, answer writing, foundation for essay, foundation for GS, this is the aim of from say November to May 2023. It's not a small thing because we are covering many papers. Unknowingly, we are doing our CSAT, unknowingly we are doing our essay, and some good great groundwork for our ethics paper also, and the entire GS from the NCERT perspective when you study. We will also cover something in the class. So what we do, we are not going to read NCERT and tell you this is the meaning of that NCERT in the class. Okay. So focus is on NCERT, but we will be covering something beyond even NCERT. The class will not be a repetition of what is written in the NCERT book. We are not aiming that. We want you to study NCERT separately. We will conduct tests every week from NCERT, but the classes are not, reading and making you underline NCERT book, but something similar to that. Maybe in that perspective, how to build the foundation. In suppose tomorrow onwards, I'll be starting with a bit on international relations and bilateral. So there many terms, very crucial words. Lot of things are there where you need to have a basic understanding in foundation. So I am not picking from any particular NCERT book, but meantime I will be suggesting certain NCERT books to be studied, which is relevant to international bilateral issues and all, which is there in 11th and 12th standard. Okay, so we will talk about that, but our aim is to have a proper foundation, additional information from even meaning of words and topics and all which are relevant, quotes, quotations and things like that. So it will be a elaborate exercise from our side. So what we are planning is from tomorrow onwards, we will have weekly 4 classes from 8 to 10 a.m. One day it will be a test based on NCERT, and one day it is a class on current affairs. Okay, so 6 days a week, 7th day it will be off, that is Sunday. So test with explanation, normally around 100 questions based on specific NCERT book, and we will be talking about the schedule for that. Okay, we will give you that properly. Classes will be by and large related to that NCERT only. It may not be every time, we may not be able to manage that. And current affairs will be based on what is happening around us, so that you have a feel of how current affairs is to be prepared and all. So current affairs classes will be on Saturdays, and this current affairs class will be every Saturday at 1:30 p.m. On that day there is no morning class, it will be Saturday 1:30 to 4 p.m. These 4 classes which we are doing right now, every week Monday to Thursday, that will be from 8 to 10. But after June, when you start June 2023, when we start specific subjects once again, at that time the class timing will be 7:30 to 10. पहले ही बोल दिया मैं. Suppose you say I cannot wake up at 7:30, don't join the course. Okay, not only you have to wake up, you have to be here in the class before 7:30. So if 8 o'clock is the class time, you have to be there at least by 7:55, seated properly, comfortably, without any puffing and puffing. So you should come, sit, relax. Okay, come on time, don't come late. Okay, so anyway, so that is about in general what we are planning to do. Tests will be there every week. Some long answer writing, everything will be part of the course immediately. And then from June, specific and all material and all, main material will come from June only, because we will be updating also for next year. So accordingly, the latest material will be provided to you. Anything you would like to ask? Any doubt about the course and what we are planning, how to go about? कोई डाउट? कोई डाउट नहीं है? The important topic, it depends upon the events which happen and what is the link with the our syllabus. So you will start getting what is important and what is not important by understanding. So when will we get the study material? Study material is NCERT right now. Now you please focus on your NCERT book. We will give you material. So when you teach, when it is required, definitely we will be providing you the material. I already told we have 20 to 25 books. Only thing if you require is only book. You purchase the previous batch material and go home. I mean, if that is the consideration. But right now our focus is on NCERT for you. So you will have to get those NCERTs we are not providing. It is already available in the market. You can buy that. It is not a very costly affair. A couple of thousand rupees, you will get all the books. Okay. If you are not able to get it, we can support you. Even we are uploading in our app. We will be having an access to the app. So in the app also these books, NCERT books, the PDF version, you can get it. But I will suggest you to download and read, underline, memorize. Okay. That strategy is better. But please don't worry about study material. Material is not the issue. Material is available everywhere. Internet is full of material. Okay. But what is required is how to use that material and how to memorize that. So please control your emotions about material. Please be along with the class, focus on the class, and then you immediately get hold of the NCERT. This is the first task is you get the NCERT first. Whatever we have to provide, we will provide you. Please don't worry. We will be doing it that. Okay. So tomorrow onwards, I will be the initial, the first area I would like to cover is international bilateral issues related foundation. Okay. It is not the issues directly we are going to talk. Okay. First couple of classes on, because we in paper 2, we get around 50 marks worth questions in international bilateral institutions, about institutions and all I will talk. Then we also get in preliminary exam at least 5-6 questions related to international issues, bilateral institutions, etc. So our first schedule or first module which I am going to cover, it may take a couple of weeks. We will be covering this international bilateral issue as the first topic, and then one by one we will be starting. We will be taking up polity separately, we will be taking history separately, then we will be taking economics, geography, all areas which are required for foundation we will be taking up first. Then from June onwards, as I told you, specific our material. So that is where our material will be more useful when the broader syllabus is taken, that material. But here the first 6 months our focus is NCERT is the material for you, plus whatever we cover in the class, what we make you write and start and all. Okay. So shall I start newspaper reading and notes making from tomorrow? I will say from today. Don't wait for tomorrow. Nothing happens in tomorrow. Start newspaper reading today. Start making some notes from the newspaper today. Whatever you think is important right now. Don't worry whether it is relevant, irrelevant. Whatever you think, it can be asked. So for that, my request is please download the syllabus. Okay. Download the syllabus and try to memorize the syllabus, 2-3 pages only from each area. What is written in the syllabus, if we can start memorizing, it may take a week's time, we can by heart the syllabus. So then the advantage is by seeing an article in the newspaper or a story in the newspaper, you can immediately link it with our syllabus. Then you can say, oh yes, this is there in the syllabus, so I should know this. So that is how we can start doing. So we will get monthly current affairs, yes, soft copy to start with. Maybe after some time we may give the hard copy also, but initially right now we are planning soft copy. Normally it's around 100 to 110 pages and it will cover around 100 to 120 topics. which happened in the previous month, which is a summary of that act which has happened and which we collected from the newspaper. You are also collecting from the newspaper, I am also collecting, then I am giving you also. Okay. So, your task every day along with your newspaper, I will suggest that you study 2-3 of those topics which we are giving you in the monthly, and every day if you are studying 3 or 4 depending upon the size. So, in 30 days we can cover the whole book. So, that should be an activity you should be doing parallelly. Material will be provided, your task is to study that. Other than that, you are also reading newspaper and collecting some material from the newspaper, which is a notebook you have, that also you have to revise and study. Anything else you would like to ask? Any other question? I hope you got some clarity. Some clarity. Had there been full clarity, you would not have asked any question. With some clarity also, you are not asking any question. Okay. So, please don't worry. Let us start doing things. So, what is your first task? Huh? What is your first task? As early as possible, get all the NCERT books. Download the syllabus. Look at the previous year questions of a couple of years in that English paper, language paper, maybe essay paper, ethics also. At least 2-3 papers you please download, and also paper 2 of CSAT. Just see that paper. There are a couple of question papers of that nature. Download the syllabus. NCERT books you please procure immediately. If you have a problem, you will get an access to an app also immediately. In that app, we have uploaded the PDF version of the NCERT, but wherever possible, you must have that physical copy. Okay. Sometimes PDF studying is not that fun. Even current affairs, which I said, we will be providing you monthly. Please download it. Take a printout of that. You may have to spend some money initially, but that is worth spending that much money so that the material can be read and underlined and memorized properly. Any other question? We will start talking about that. Right now, we will take this up separately. Okay. Maybe in the next coming classes, I will spend some time on how to choose optional subject also. Please remind me. Today it takes 15-20 minutes. I will talk so that it can be common for all. About optional, I'll talk one of these days. What else? So I'll stop here today. Thank you so much. Thank you for listening.